amazingly, it is my 10th season with Humanities West, and I had a long time with the Humanities before that as an academic and as a dean. But actually I started rather late with the Humanities because I was a medical publisher before I became an English professor, and then here I am as the executive director of Humanities West, which is such a fantastic experience because even when I was an English professor, I really didn't get to work with the multidisciplinary humanities disciplines, all of the disciplines all together. And I also get to work with all of the academics now that populate our programs and do these wonderful lectures, and the performers that do these wonderful performances in a way that I never could when I was working with faculty at my university. And the audience for Humanities West is so dedicated and has been coming to Humanities West programs way before I came here. The same people, they're so dedicated in the same kind of way that my students, when I was a professor, were dedicated to learning. And I think our patrons are like that as well. They're just absolutely delightful to be working with. We usually have scholars come from UC Berkeley and some of the other UC campuses around California, but also Stanford and some of the smaller regional colleges and universities in the region. And it's also great fun to go around and find these people. Humanities West is not Western civilization. Humanities West began as having humanities in the West and having a lot of talent in terms of academics and performers right here in the San Francisco Bay Area, so that we could put on these great programs without having to go far afield to find the experts in the different places. So we have these partnerships with Stanford Humanities Center and also with UC Berkeley's centers and institutes, especially with what's called ORIAS, the Office of Resources for International and Area Studies. And they bring high school and community college teachers to our programs. We put on workshops for them. And also some professors bring entire classes of students to our programs and give course credit for them as well.
I'm very interested in the humanities because I'm very interested in human achievement, in the creation of a great human culture. And a lot of the things that have been accomplished in the middle of a mess. And I think it's really important at Humanities West that we focus on the highlights of human history in our programs. But one of the important things is to know that it's always been accomplished, the highlights, in a mess, in the middle of a mess. So people should never feel, oh, we have a mess now, we can't accomplish anything. I think that's the most important takeaway for me from Humanities West programs. I was introduced to Humanities West in 2005 by a friend of mine. There was a program on Mark Twain. He knew of my interest in that, and I got pulled into a donors party where I ended up giving half the lecture, and then 3 days later I gave a lecture at the Humanities West program on Mark Twain when a speaker dropped out. That's how I got pulled in, and then I gave a few other lectures, and then Judy asked me to join the board, and I found it an intriguing organization. I love the way that it had gotten started. I thought that was very interesting. I love that it had been going for so many years, and that people were still coming in the hundreds to programs that lasted for a whole weekend about, as I said, the highlights of human history. I love that about San Francisco, and I think this is a great institution that presents that part of what San Francisco loves about life. We choose the programs at Humanities West with a committee of the members of the board of directors, but we also put out a survey every year asking the people who come to our programs, especially the regulars, but anybody, and we put it online so that even people who don't come to our programs can answer. And we have a survey. We have narrowed it down to, say, 15 choices, and we pick out of those 3. And those surveys that we do online give us a lot of insight into how people do it. We have a very interesting matrix that we use that shows us the kind of interest in addition to the amount of interest, so that we know what people really don't like in addition to what they really like, and then we make our choices. I think my favorite program was the one on Sicily many years ago. We talked all about the different cultures that blended into Sicily in the ancient times that laid the base for what came much later. We're going to do another program soon on medieval Sicily, which is great, the Norman time. But this was about the ancient Greek part, when Sicily really was part of Magna Graecia.
You know, my favorite speaker who's done a couple of programs for us has been Max Grossman, because he has such an immense amount of information, but the way he delivers it to our audience is not academic. In a way, it's like a conversation you would have in a living room over tea. And so he is so knowledgeable, but he incorporates that in a way that's really casual. And I think that is really appealing for our audience, and it definitely speaks to me. In truth, I'm a bit of a bookworm. And so what I like to do is I like to stay at home in fuzzy socks with an engaging book, drinking tea, and reading a book. And what Humanities West has really given me is the opportunity to connect with people, because our patrons are so well-read and well-traveled. And when you engage them in conversation, out comes these books that have prompted their travels, their ideals, and I've realized that everyone has a story. And it's pretty exciting. And so I've been so grateful to Humanities West to embracing that community.